Good morning. The clickety clackety earrings are back, so excuse that, but I wanted to wear them. Today, I wanted to add another entry into, I guess, what is going to be a series of what I wish I would have known before I started Booktube. So, the last video that I did in this vein was about NetGalley, which is something I've only been using for the past few months or so. But with Booktube, I have been here now since June of 2020, so not yet a year, but it's been quite an experience. And just to be clear, this will not be a video about things like thumbnails and SEO and tags and just, stuff to like help you grow or help you be successful, whatever success means to you, because I don't feel I'm qualified to give that give that kind of information. Again, with this NetGalley video, these are just some really personal things that I wish I had known before I had started. And then of course with the hope that some of you will resonate and some of you will learn from, I'm not gonna say my mistakes necessarily, but from my experiences. So the first one I wish I would have known before I started Booktube is it is okay to invest in your hobbies. Now, a lot of these videos will tell you that you don't need to spend a bunch of money to start making YouTube videos, and you don't. Please do not take this as me telling you to go out and buy a Sony camera and, a fancy boom mic and a bunch of box lights. Like, as y'all know, I film on my computer or my phone. I use natural light, and that's it. However, the first few videos I made, I edited on Windows Movie Maker, which I hated. Like, I really hated. I didn't hate the editing process. I actually really enjoyed that, but I was so frustrated because the system didn't feel intuitive to me, and I could tell it was taking me a lot longer to do things that I knew how to do, if you know what that means. Like, I was having one of those moments of like, is this me or is this my equipment? It was my equipment. However, I felt like I shouldn't or I wasn't allowed to invest money in this because it was a hobby. And it wasn't until I was complaining to my partner when he was like, first of all, stop. Second of all, what? Like, if you were going to start doing yoga, you would probably buy a mat and maybe some blocks. If you were going to start knitting, you would definitely buy needles and yarn. Why do you have this idea that you're not allowed to spend money on something that's a hobby? And I realized it was because capitalism had infiltrated the soft gray matter of my brain to make me feel that unless I was going to do YouTube or Booktube as a career or a side hustle, I wasn't allowed to invest in anything that just brought me joy. So I bought some editing software. The one that I currently use is Wondershare Filmora. I pay $70 for the year, and they have an option where you can upload your footage to their site, edit your entire video, experience the software, see if you like it, and then decide if you want to buy it. There's also a version where you can upload your videos on YouTube with that editing software for free, but they'll put a watermark on it. Please know this is not sponsored. This was just an editing software that made sense to me, that I felt was good for beginners, and that wasn't very expensive. On top of that, the only other thing I bought for my channel is a secondhand ring light from one of my actor friends. Still haven't exactly figured out how to do that, but that was 20 bucks. So from June 2020 to February 2021, overall, I've spent $90 on this channel, and I feel that it's been 100% worth it. So again, please do not feel like you have to buy a bunch of things to start making YouTube videos, but if you are enjoying it, if you think that a microphone or a light or maybe a camera, I don't know, would increase your experience, would bring you joy, would help you do what you do better and more efficiently, then do it. Like, it's this idea that we are not allowed to spend money on anything that aren't bare necessities like food and rent, or things that will explicitly make us money, is a trap. So if you were falling for it like I was, please don't. The next thing that I wish I would have known before I started Booktube is that we get to decide our relationship with this platform. For example, some of the videos I watched before I started my channel talked a lot about thumbnails and tags and promoting yourself on Twitter and Instagram and starting a Bookstagram and joining Reddit threads for, small YouTubers. And it just felt so overwhelming to me. When I first started uploading YouTube videos, I found that while I enjoy filming, I actually enjoy editing, I love filling out the description and doing annotations and all those things, I do not like making thumbnails. I spend probably 15 minutes or less doing them. Sometimes I'll pick pictures I don't even really like just because I want to, get it over with and get it done. And so that's something I don't spend a lot of time on. And I don't use tags. I have never used tags on any of my videos because I just don't want to do it. Am I aware that if my goal was to potentially grow my channel to a certain amount of subscribers, or if I want to, work with the algorithm in a different way, yeah, if those were my goals, I probably should be using tags. I probably should be spending more time on my thumbnails. But that's part of this process that I don't enjoy. And so far, I don't feel that not paying as much attention to those things has degraded my experience in any way. I also don't have any social media, and I don't feel like Well, I do have some social media that I barely use, but like I'm not active on any social media. And so I didn't really feel the need or the desire to make a book Twitter, to make a bookstagram, to basically make a lot of extraneous work for myself beyond the work I'm doing here, the parts that I actually enjoy, because those are the things that you're supposed to do in order to be successful. You get to decide your relationship to this platform. And also, little asterisk, you get to change your mind. Over time, now that I'm getting more comfortable using Pic Monkey, now I'm getting more experience, like taking like little mini photo shoots of myself or like pulling images from editing. I'm starting to dislike thumbnails a little less. And who knows, maybe one day I'll actually start putting in tags. But that's my choice to make. That's your choice to make. And this point I really want to hammer home because there are so many videos, there are so many articles, there is so much content out there on how to be successful on YouTube, how to get your first 100, your first 1,000, your first million. Even if you're someone who is invested in the numbers, I do think that, again, you get to decide what your relationship is with this platform. And I hope that none of those other potential numeric goals are detracting from the actual experience of being on YouTube or being on Booktube. The third thing I wish I would have known before starting Booktube is that comparison is inevitable. Now, I feel particularly grateful that in general in my daily life, I don't compare myself often to other people. So I thought I wasn't going to have that problem on Booktube, and y'all may remember my video on the most viewed videos on Booktube that was a direct manifestation, a channeling of my anxious, nervous energy about comparing myself to other people. It is so easy to not only go to someone else's channel and see how beautiful their thumbnails are and how creative their editing is, how many subscribers they have, how many comments they have. It's also really easy, I've learned, to sort their videos from oldest to newest, see when they started YouTube, and then compare how far, again, these are all very arbitrary things, but how far they have gotten and I have gotten in the same amount of time. That was a very bad habit that thankfully I have cut back on, because it's true. Comparison is the thief of joy. Sometimes quotes that you see in Barnes and Nobles and on Tumblr actually have some merit, and I think that's one of them. Because the more I thought about where other people were and how many subscribers they had, and what their equipment looked like, and I'm watching a video and suddenly I'm realizing like, oh wow, they're not filming on their phone. I can tell this is like a really nice camera. Suddenly I'm not enjoying their content as much anymore because I'm thinking about all the things that they have that I don't. The big walls of bookshelves. And what gets really silly is that sometimes in comparison, I would find myself wanting things for Booktube that I actually didn't want. Like I could film in front of the one bookshelf that I have if I rearranged some things and brought out the ring light and stacked, like I could make that work if I really wanted to. But I haven't, which means I don't actually really feel the desire to film in front of my bookshelf. It's just I'm consuming so much media that makes me think I want that. It's very personal. It's also very societal. I just want you to be aware that no matter how strong and confident and secure you are, at some point in your Booktube journey, you are going to compare yourself to other people. So don't be cocky like I was and think you did not need to do any previous mental, emotional, spiritual work to avoid that. And then I think accepting that and just, this is a part of the process and moving through it, I think that's a more graceful way of going about it than being like me, who's like, oh no, I'm never going to do that. And then like spending like a full week deep in comparison mode and having to like pull myself up and grasp for air and be like, okay, got that out of my system. Pride goeth before the fall. Let's get back to the fun part of doing Booktube. The fourth thing I wish I would have known or would have paid more attention to is the fact that Booktube is small. Now, it does not feel small. At least it didn't feel small to me when I first started watching videos or making videos. But as I've been doing this for a little longer and I've started to, comment on other people's channels, people comment on mine, sometimes we'll tag each other and stuff. I've noticed that I'm interacting with people who have way more subscribers than I do, way less subscribers than I do, people who've been doing this for years, people who've been doing this for less time than I have. And I think because my only other interaction with other YouTube subcategories was as a commenter, as a viewer, as a consumer, I got really used to the fact that the biggest beauty YouTubers are most likely not going to watch someone who has 500 subscribers in the same field. The biggest unboxing YouTubers are most likely not going to watch someone who does the same stuff, but again, who has 300 subscribers. So I find that the tininess, the smallness, the size of Booktube to be really nice because I feel like people are more accessible and I feel like it's easier easier to connect with folks all at different parts of their journey. But I would like to caution you, because I've seen this happen, it also means it's more likely that if you make any content that is talking about other people, whether positive, negative, or otherwise, that they might see it. Now, I'm not saying like the biggest booktubers out there are intentionally looking for videos where people criticize them or compliment them. But I have been genuinely surprised when I have spoken about a booktuber in one of my videos, thankfully in a positive way, and then 4 months later, they found the video and commented on it. I thought it was lovely because I'm glad that they know that I appreciate their work. But if I was someone who, wanted to build a platform doing critique videos or tea videos or gossip videos, I just think it's important to be aware of that because I have very rarely seen that happen in other subsectors. Like the fact that Booktube has, right now, I think one Jess Owens community series, while other subsectors on YouTube have like tons and tons and tons of commentary and drama channels. Again, I think that just kind of speaks to this unique culture. And I think it's something to be aware of. As I said, in my experience, it's been mostly positive, but I see some missteps perhaps in other people's comment sections and other people's interaction online, where from my perspective it seems very clear that they didn't actually expect that person to watch their video, or they didn't actually expect that person to see their comment among the thousands of others. This is the internet. It is entirely possible for anybody to see anything at any time. However, Booktube in general seems to be a place where it is more likely that people will see that content, so that is also something I would keep in mind. On a technical note, something I wish I would have known before starting Booktube is that scheduling is your friend. I always had this idea that people were filming, editing, and uploading videos either the same day or within the same few days. But there are videos on this channel that have recently gone live that I filmed, edited, and uploaded weeks ago. But I schedule them out so I can make sure I have content over breaks that I think are going to be really busy with school or with work. And I am so glad that that is an option. In general, I find myself getting bursts of inspiration, filming 2 to 3 videos a week, sometimes even 2 videos in a day, editing all of them, and then releasing them slowly over the course of a month. That's what works for me. That may not work for you. And there are some downsides to this. I have seen in other communities, people release a video or a person release a video and the audience say, wow, this is really insensitive or disrespectful or just, really poor timing and very, crass considering X, Y, Z that's happening in the world. And then the creator will have to go in and put like a pinned comment in the comment section saying, hey guys, I filmed this. Like this happened a lot during the beginning of the pandemic. They're like, yes, I'm posting this in March 30th of 2020. I filmed this in January of 2020. It had just taken me that long to edit it and upload it. So maybe next time I'll be clear about when this footage was captured. Or maybe I should be clear that when I uploaded this person hadn't come out as trans yet. So I was using different pronouns in this video. Like that's kind of a good and bad thing about the internet is that stuff lives forever. So there are times that I've watched videos that were uploaded in 2014, 6 years ago. I have no idea where this person, 7 years ago now, it's 2021. I've watched videos that were uploaded a long time ago. I have no idea where this person is now. I have no idea what they're going through, how they feel, what kind of work they're doing. And it just resonates so deeply with me. And I'm grateful that I'm able to watch it. But then I always wonder, this was years ago. Do you feel the same way? Do you think the same way? Are you in the same relationship? Are you in the same job? And so I just think that's something to be mindful of because I realized that like my NetGalley video, what I wish I would have known before starting NetGalley, I filmed that a while ago. And then some conversations on YouTube started happening around NetGalley and I was like, I had to go back and watch it because I wanted to be like, okay, is there anything in this video that could be perceived as being shade towards another situation that had not even happened by the time that I filmed it? So again, mostly pro, a little bit of con if you're not fully aware of what's going on in the world or if you don't always know what conversations are happening on different platforms. But I would recommend it. I would highly recommend scheduling your videos out so you don't feel pressure to adhere to a very specific schedule if you are someone who has set a specific schedule for yourself. And finally, my final bit of advice, the final thing I wish I would have really let resonate with me before I started Booktube is the importance of knowing thyself. Now, I love philosophy and metaphysics and the Matrix and Kung Fu Panda and all of these fictional and non-fictional forms of media that talk about the concept of identity. Who am I? Who am I in relation to other people? Who am I in relation to my idea of myself? I think therefore I am. All of this nonsense. There are things that I thought I was comfortable with, that I thought I understood how other people perceive me. There's a lot of things that I have basically learned about myself over the course of doing Booktube the last several months, physically and mentally, emotionally, personally, spiritually. Certain things are small, like my teeth. I had braces and then I had a retainer that I lost. I have gaps in my teeth, and those are never things that have really bothered me. I am adult. I have dental insurance. I could go and see how much it would cost to get, braces again or get a retainer, but I don't really want to because it doesn't bother me. After like 3 months of making videos and filming and watching them and editing my face, suddenly I was very conscious of the gaps in my teeth. And I had to kind of wind myself back for a moment and be like, did you care about this 3 months ago? No. So why do you care about it now? Just because I'm watching it and it's being pushed in my face more than it was in my daily life when I'd be brushing my teeth or seeing myself in the mirror. Another thing that I think is important in terms of the knowing yourself category is that there were moments where I would watch back videos that I made and wonder, am I being fake? Not in the sense that, am I intentionally trying to misrepresent myself, but rather, is it fair? Is it totally honest? Is it totally authentic if I only film when I'm in a good mood? Because I only film when I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood now. I didn't wake up this morning saying, okay, today on this day, what day is it? Today on this Tuesday, I'm gonna film a video. I was like, I'm in a good mood, let me film something. So y'all are only seeing some of the best sides of me. Am I interested in potentially doing vlog content, which tends to be more casual and, less makeup and, walking around the house in sweats? Am I interested in sharing some of the more personal, vulnerable stories as they are related to books, as they are related to my personal life? I have a lot of questions around how I am representing and presenting myself online, even though in my real life, whether it's just like my natural personality, the type of family I grew up in, and also therapy, as always, I am a very, very introspective person. For better or worse, I spent a lot of time thinking about myself. And that's been really, really interesting to contrast with watching a version of myself on camera. Because even though in this moment, in this brief moment, the only thing that actually exists, there's no future, past, or otherwise, I feel very comfortable and I feel like I'm being myself. I understand that just by the nature of when I choose to film, what I choose to wear in the editing process, what I keep in and what I take out, there always is a layer of filtering and layering there, which is why I put all of those words like authenticity and originality and being myself in quotations, because they mean different things to different people. And you are witnessing me, experiencing me, hearing me through this medium. And the medium does affect the message. Sometimes the medium is the message, but it's a conversation for another time. So I'm not saying that you need to go down a deep spiral of who am I and what's my place in the world. I'm not saying you have to go to therapy, although I would recommend it for literally everybody. But it's helpful to know certain things about yourself before you get on camera and start trying to share yourself, share your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas with the rest of the world. And there are people who have been on this platform for 15 years, making videos since they were 13 years old. And so they have been, as time goes on, crafting and developing and refining who they are. I would say even from my first video to now, I'm doing that process slowly. And depending on how long I stay on this platform, I might look back in 5 years and be like, wow, girl, my mid-20s were, look at her. Good for her. I'm glad she made it through. We never know. And I just wasn't expecting, yes, I'm talking about books. Yes, I'm talking about, movies sometimes and things about the Booktube community. And it tends to be pretty fun and casual and low key. But just by nature of choosing to put yourself on the internet, to put myself on the internet and explicitly or implicitly say, I want to connect with people. I want to interact with strangers who may become acquaintances, colleagues, and friends. I think something that I feel and that I think and that I've read or I've written has value. And I want to share it and hear what other people have to say that is also of value. I think a lot of that ties into this idea of knowing yourself and knowing your intentions for being on the platform. So, all that had being said, those are a few things that I wish I would have known, or probably more specifically, I wish I would have really grappled with or let it hit me before I started Booktube. I am enjoying this process so far. I hope to continue enjoying it, and I cannot wait to see what else I learn from this very, very unique, interesting adventure. And as always, I hope you have a good day.